Hello and welcome to the Galfond Challenge. 2 3-bet pots here. Farrah suggesting table number 1 is sick table, number 2 is swings. I kind of like swings. We got crazy cats and kittens. Very similar boards here as I look back and forth. Both pots, 7,200 euros. Fours are cheap on both sides as well. And apparently Gwen Stefani was born in 1969. She is 50. Galfond betting 5,000 on the 3 of hearts. And also betting 5,000 on the 2 of diamonds. And he wins them both.
Takes him down.
By the way, the Action Freak versus Galfond match, they are scheduled to play 150, 300 PLO. Every other match is 100, 200. And by the way, I don't know if things have changed or not because somebody mentioned in the chat. 4-bet pot. 4-bet pot on Super Sick. Aptly named. There's the call. 10-7-3 Rainbow.
Could be 4-bet and 40K both at once.
Oh.
Wow.
So Galfond is the 4-better. There's the all in here. It's all going in.
He's got the wrap and
ace. Flush over flush.
Yeah.
Flush over flush. Galfond wins himself a monster pot. Galfond bets half pot on the turn. Yeah, and for any of you out there who are trying to work on your game, got a call. River's the ace of hearts. 14-4 in there. 8,000, by the way, in there over at swings. So we got a couple of big pots brewing. As you can see, Galfond in the green ever so slightly.
I've seen Venny use that bet size a couple times now. I've seen him bet that 2,200 into 3,600, which was not one of his original sizes that he had. So it's kind of interesting to me that he's changed his
pot size bet here. 28-7 in there. If Venny calls this and loses it, it will be a 40K pot. Well, it'll be a 40K pot if he calls, regardless whether he wins or loses. But could we see one? No. Venny folds. We got another big pot over at swings. 16,000 in there. Board pairs.
So Venny 3-bet, C-bet 2,200 into 3,600, and check called the turn.
Looks like Venny is sitting out here. Possibly a little bit of a scheduled break. Galfond, by the way, up more. Let's see what happens here. Galfond bets pot. Can you win another big one?
This is a 6 spot. This is going to be... It's not a good feeling in Venny's shoes, I feel like, and with anything but the nuts with the way that he's played.
I was going to say, I mean, what do you do with like Jack 10? Are you just throwing up and being like, I guess I got to throw this away now?
I think with missed clubs, you have to call with Jack 10. Yeah, I think Phil would bet Jack 10 too.
And
but he had 9-4. He had 10 Jack 9-4. I felt bad when someone said they're retiring after busting their entire bankroll online. Yeah, man. Luckily that's not the reason that I retired from poker, more or less. But yeah, it happens. It's, I would say I played full time. Full time being like 40 to 70 hours per week is my sole source of income from age probably like 18 to 27-ish with maybe a 1-year gap. So like a really, really long time, 9 or 10 years of a really, really full-time play.
That is insane, by the way.
Yeah.
That is insane. I mean, it's one thing to do it for a year or two, but to be able to do that as your sole source of income for that long is crazy. There's a half pot size bet and a call from Galfond. Jack of clubs on the river over at swings. I mean, you should really be proud of that. I mean, I think that's just an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge portion of my life. But yeah, where I was going with that is just like of all the people, you know, of all the people who were like pro alongside with me and huge.
Stop. I want to hear the rest of the
Here.
story, but we
Yeah,
got two
yeah, yeah.
huge pots going here. We got a pot size bet here from Venny, all in. Another big pot over on Super Sick. We got 16-8 at Super 8 at Super Sick, 26-7 on swings. Galfond in the tank.
Penny gems
Galfond
again.
folds. Venividi, pot size bet, well, all in, 14-8 into 17. He's all in. It is Galfond's turn to act right there. Galfond folds again. So both big pots headed to Venividi. Galfond was up 40,000.
15K. I think he had 15 to 20K between the two. Yeah, so I was just saying, of over all of those years, I would 90, maybe not 95, probably about 90% of the people who were, co-professionals with me or playing at the same stakes, playing really hard online, almost all of them went broke, retired, had to leave poker. Like, it is a hard game. There's a huge churn, massive attrition rate. And it's not just poker. There were guys who won millions in poker and lost it all sports betting or gambling. And there's so many bad habits, so many things that come with it on the side of just playing the game, that it's just really hard to do everything right. Yeah, I mean, there's very few people, and there's still the core group, I think, of us who kind of we're in the game together and we're still around, although a lot of them have transitioned out. Yeah, it's crazy.
Do you attribute some of your success and your ability to kind of stay on course and not kind of, fall off the track, so to speak, because you've had some balance in your life, because you've been married, had kids, stuff like that?
No, I don't think.
I'm sorry, that's
Honestly,
great. That's
I,
awesome.
I
No,
don't think I had. I don't think I had significant balance in that. Like, I mean, I
well,
had. I got married super early. Yeah, sorry.
stop for a second. Stop for a second, Brian. Got a huge pot here. 48,000 over on Super Sick. Venividi bet 8,000 on the deuce of clubs, and Galfond just popped him up to 32. There's a call.
Wow. The boat versus the 210 boat versus the ace high flush. Up
I don't want to say
105,000 overall in the challenge now.
Yeah, I don't want to say that Galfond that Farah had anything to do with this, but since we renamed the tables, and when I say rename them, I mean name them at all, Galfond has been on a tear. About €100,000 upswing for him. Farah says, let's go, Phil. Let's run away with this thing, please. Yeah, for a lot of us, obviously, it's fun. We're rooting for Phil. I know the majority of the people watching are cheering on Phil. But we also, for a lot of us, we'd love to see this go down to the wire. Like, it would be a lot of fun. As Phil mentioned in his post-session interview a couple of days ago, he's really happy if he just kind of wraps this up and doesn't have to worry about it the last 100 hands. Obviously, he's still playing poker, but I would imagine Farah feels the same way.
Farah, how do you feel about like the fact that there's 5+ more challenges potentially? Like, are you feeling, on top of the quarantine and cabin fever and being inside all of this time, are you now also feeling like, oh my God, we've got a year plus more of this maybe? How are you guys family wise thinking about that?
I'll answer that question in a second. Right now, I got a board pairing, ace of clubs on the river. The pot is 25,000. Backdoor hearts missed. Certainly the ace pairing, very significant now, right? 25,250 in there. Man, we saw no big pots 2 days ago. Somebody just pointed out in the chat, are we seeing more 3-bets today? Are we seeing a lot more bigger pots? Yeah, we are. I don't think the players are necessarily, I don't think they came in today going, I'm going to be more aggressive than I was 2 days ago. I just think sometimes the hands work out that way. The cards cooperate. Venny in the tank. Galfond already checked.
Man,
His SPR is less than a half. And he bets 11,000. He goes all in. So it's 11,000 to call. Oh, Galfond with the oh no.
So what oh no's here? 7-9?
We'll never know. Well, we can always ask him afterwards, but are all the matches happening at the same time? They're not, actually. They're timed out. So basically 2 matches will happen at a time, and we'll show you those 2 matches. And then once those 2 matches end, which is why we're doing the 30-minute time limits, then 2 more matches will come on. Then 2 more matches, so forth and so on. So, but it's starting at 11 a.m. Eastern. It's going to go pretty much all day. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, if you are able to play poker on Run It Once Poker, if you play just one hand that day, Run It Once Poker, just one hand, I mean, one friggin' hand of poker, Run It Once Poker will give away 10 euros to the COVID-19 charity Heads Up charity to the cause. So do your part. Either donate or at least play one hand on Run It Once Poker.
It's a good call by Curtin in that they are super deep on the left, and Venny has not asked for a table reset.
Yeah, good shout out there. Good catch.
I wonder if as we get closer, if he's down, if he'll be less likely to ask for a table reset. He has this additional $200,000 worth of equity. Like he might want to play deeper, knowing
there's a call.
It. Yeah, ace high flush for Venny.
The nut flush, he had the king as well, and still got called by Phil Galfond. Now, both these players, as deep as we've ever seen them,
What if Bill Perkins feats Phil? Yeah, man, it's like it's only to 20 buy-ins, right? So if they're playing kind of this, I don't know, it could happen, right? Like 20 buy-ins is still quite a bit, but it certainly can happen. You can hit the negative end of card distribution, and that one will hurt if it does. Is $1 million side bet. We have another 14,000 pot over here on the right. Venny checks.
Just jumping back in the box here, and we see a huge pot over at Swings. 14,000 in there already, rolling on the turn. Was this a 4-bet pot?
Yeah, I actually don't know. I'm gonna check the replay after.
10's full. Oh, ouch. 3-bet pot over at Swings and 11.99er over at Super Sick. Pellegrino, where are you right now, by the way?
Vancouver.
Vancouver, okay. How long have you been in Vancouver?
Like 7 years with the one year kind of trip we took to travel.
We'll get a replay of that in just a moment. Venividi betting pot on Swings on a Jack 5-3 rainbow board. Galfond calls. Pot now 10-8. 9 of clubs on the turn. Venividi betting pot again. So Venividi was the 3-better. He potted flop. Got called. Now pot's turn. Galfond in the tank. He makes the call. Board pairs. Venividi not slowing down. I mean, that 3 of hearts misses everything. if Galfond had something on the turn, he's probably going to go with it. He only has 3,800 behind, though. He's getting a great price. And if he folds, wow. Another big pot on swings here. Board pairs, 9 of clubs on the turn. Just under 10-8 in the pot. Galfond betting 2,800. Action on Venny now.
More like
a 4-bet pot. 4-bet pot over on.
We got two big pots.
Super sick, yeah. Venividi was the 4-better. Dynamic board here. Jack 7-6, 2 hearts out there. We got straight draw. We got a flush draw. Not going to stop Venividi from going pot. He bets 10-8.
Well, Venny checked back with the set of 8s and the others. I didn't see the rest of the board there.
Galfond all in.
Immediately gets it in. This is going to be a big pot. It's going to be a very big pot.
There it is. 65,000 in there. Top
aces
set.
Against top set of jacks. There you
go.
There
it is. Jack's full. Top set. So Galfond loses a pretty big pot over on swings, but crushes a monster 4-bet 40K pot. Turns out it was 65K when it was all said and done.
Someone says they just turned on ESPN and they were showing a cherry pit spitting contest.
A charity what contest?
No, not charity. A cherry pit.
Cherry pit spitting contest.
Yep. That's what he says.
Really? I mean, are you kidding me? Jimmy, was that a joke? No, he says, Tuck, LOL, seriously. Really? Cherry pit spitting contest.
Clearly, that's what the people want. They don't want to see one of the greatest poker comebacks of all time. Let's see who can spit this cherry pit the farthest.
We got a big pot here. Wow, look at this. Galfond just went pot. Pot is 21,500. Ace, Jack, 9, 6. There's the raise from Venny. There's the all-in. A set of nines.
Versus
he's going to hold.
With a flush draw, yeah.
Flush draw, 2-pair for Venny. Set of nines for Galfond holds. And a monster pot. You always like looking for the player that comes in with the table game chips as opposed to the poker chips.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually, I've never noticed that, but intuitively, that seems pretty obvious.
They're just some, I just think, obviously you played enough live poker, you know these things. And I've pretty much only played live poker the last 15 years. I mean, I played a little bit online when I was in London and a little bit of live before 2011, before Black Friday and everything. But, I would say 98% of my experience is live poker. And there are many tricks to the trade in the terms of very quickly trying to figure out where the spots are in the game.
Yeah.
F. Williams 724 says, you never rip the fish at the table, you cater to the fish. I mean, I would say just from a human standpoint as well, it's better to be nice. It's better to be friendly. And if you want bad players to play with you, don't be an asshole. Venividi bets pot on the 4 clubs. Couple of decent sized pots here. Venividi 1-1 over at Super Sick. Does he win this one also? Galfond in the tank. He makes the call.
Ace deuce. Yeah.
Ace deuce for the wheel. I don't know what number to draw the line at though.
Yeah, but fortunately they're playing for stakes high enough that like that's not going to happen, right? So every hand that you fold, you're losing on average $150, and so one single session of 600 hands is $90,000 you'd be folding off. So, it's very unlikely that they're going to actually just fold every single hand, but I think you will see things happen like Phil requesting resets, right? Like there's no reason why Phil needs to have like a 400 big blind pot right now when he doesn't need to. When he has the lead, I think you've seen Venny now that he's down, he's not limping so much this late. Again, we're getting closer. They're trying to do these things, and so do I think we'll see them like? Will the person ahead 4-bet less on the final day if they're in the lead? Absolutely, I think they will. And big pot over on the right.
Yeah, I want to focus on the hand here, as it's 8,000 over to Galfond. He's in the tank. Because I do. Oh, there's the call. Queen of diamonds on the river. The nuts certainly have changed here. 24,000 in the pot. Galfond with only 8 behind.
Spades bricked, everything else but the 5, 6, 7 wrap came in. So I have a hard time thinking they're not going to get this in here. And one of them.
Venny checks. Looking a little bit better for Galfond now. There's the all-in from Galfond. Pot is 32,000. If there's a call, it'll be a 40K pot.
Benny can have spades. He can have that lower wrap. I mean, he can have a lot of things, but
what are you doing with 2 pair right now? What are you doing with like top 2?
I mean, if I get here with top 2, I think you have to call.
There's the call.
Yeah, Phil
there was King Jack, by the way.
7 and spades. Yeah, I think you have to call top 2.
I like when I ask a question and it actually works out. This is what happened there. So Benny did have King Jack. And as you said, the low wrap missed. The upper wrap obviously got there. Galfond was bluffing. Didn't work out. Venividi was getting 4-1. Didn't fold. We got a 4-bet pot now. Four-bet pot on swings. And by the way, with that hand, Venividi back in the green. That could change, though, here. Yeah, Venividi was the 4-better. He bets pot on a Jack Deuce 7. Galfond going with it. There it is. Set of jacks once again.
Yeah.
Once again, it's a set of jacks. It's jacks versus aces. And once again, Galfond flops top set.
Three-bet pot over there on the right. C-bet's pot on 9-4-3 with diamonds. And Venny raises. Interesting the kind of range you're going to see bet pot here with on this board, or like the defender's range. So Venny on the button probably hits this a little bit harder than Phil. So Phil potting is mostly going to be, I think, a little bit more polar towards hands that are going to stack off and then kind of weaker hands. So he does have some of the stack off hands. Those are the ones you kind of want to get in. Ace 9 against 9, 10. So did he just get there on the river? It's just a million turn cards that put him in a terrible situation. Like this 5 would have put him in any 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, Jack even. Like there's just so many that put him in a really, really, really bad situation that he just pots. He just wants to make the decision kind of tougher for Venny. And Venny getting in it is pretty standard with the pair and the flush draw. The bigger question to me is that a normal call of a 3-bet to call a 3-bet with 9-10-7-2 with a 9-2
with one suit.
Flush draw, yeah, with like a bad suit. So I don't know. Some PLO player can tell us. 10-9-7-2 with a single suit, is that a standard or just at least, let's say, acceptable hand to call a 3-bet with?
Just fold free says actually Galfond did have the backdoor straight draw with king queen. Good catch. You're right.
They got it in over here, and
they did get it in again. Another
nut
one
flush to queen high flush. Yeah, Phil had a wrap and a flush draw, and Vinny had the nut flush.
Farrah says, if it's this close in the final 50 hands, I will live stream myself throwing up. I'm afraid that she would probably steal our viewers then.
For sure. I think this Twitch chat definitely loves Farrah most of all. And Sembid asks, was a Dwan Jungleman fiasco. So Dwan basically did something similar to Phil in that he challenged the world. And he was considered a very good player at the time. And he was doing these challenges and things were going great. And then he started playing jungle. And jungle was just like different level. Jungle totally was massacring him. To be honest, kind of like the beginning of this challenge went. Just a lot of people were just like, oh man, he's done. And Durr ended up basically.
Oh, whoa, 40K pot there. Sorry.
Right. Yeah.
And they played so close the last few sessions that, like, even if Galfond does have an edge, and again, I don't know the answer to this. I'm just throwing it out there. But even if Galfond has an edge, is it enough to give somebody 2-1? That seems like a pretty good price.
Yeah.
And maybe it is. Currently 4:16 p.m. on the East Coast, 4:20, rapidly approaching. PrimordialAA, David Tuchman calling the Galfond Challenge today. This is session number 37.
Got a raise
more action tomorrow at 11
pot.
a.m. Eastern time. And then, of course, the charity event on Saturday, 5-figure pot, as Galfond raises the flop. By the way, check out the sizing of that raise.
Yeah,
Venividi went 2,200 to like 58.
Yeah. And Venny, that seems to be his most picked 3-bet size today. Our C-bet in a 3-bet pot today is at 2,200 into 3,600.
Is Galfond's raise typical, though? Oh, and now look at this. So it goes 3-bet, C-bet, raise, and now Venny bets pot when Jack 10 gets there.
Phil was the flop raiser, and Venny has like led out into him now on the turn. Is this just 10 Jack? I have no idea. I mean, it could be 10 Jack against a bunch of sets and other stuff. Yeah, Phil just folds. That's interesting.
I'm not a religious person, but Stapes will be in the house on Sunday. I don't think he's all that religious either. Can you imagine all the Easter-centric jokes that are going to come out? It's going to be a fun day. The Poker Riddler says, how can I get a custom-made avatar? I believe you get an avatar if you donate, if you get into the charity event. So just donate heaps of money. What's up? Galfond bets 2,800. There's the call. 26,000 in there. Venividi was the raiser on the turn. Galfond called. Pot is 26,000. There it is, the all-in. It's 11,000 to call. Pot is actually around 37,000, 11 to call. Galfond folds on swings. About an hour and 10 minutes ago or so, they took a break. They reset stacks. And Venividi has pretty much won 90% of the hands since then. $16,800 in there over on swings. It seems like a card that's going to favor Venividi now. But no, Galfond is the one who bets all in pretty much. He bets 16,800. It's a pot size bet. There's 33,000 in there. Could we get another 40K pot? Action on Venny.
Man, these spots are sick. These guys are sickos. Like just this game in general.
He raises. This pot is enormous. Galfond's only got 3,600 behind. This can't be a bluff from Venny. This is bad news if you're Phil Galfond. There's the call. There's the nuts versus the second nuts.
Oh,
Ace high flush versus king high flush.
He had a set of sevens prior to that too.
Yeah. Oh, what? That's just sick. He had a set of sevens with the king high flush. And it looks like this will be it, as Venividi is sitting out over on swings.
Oh, yeah.
So you imagine we will get a good game. And we can put a cherry on this session. And right now it looks like Phil Galfond will be down about 4 buy-ins today and about 2 buy-ins total. We'll get the total for you in a second, though. There it is. There's the good game from Venividi.
Yeah.
He folds. And that will do it for us. Bryan, I want to thank you very much for your time.
Tuck, thanks for having me. Running once, all of the people in Twitch chat enjoyed it a lot. So thanks so much, guys.